Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Let's Chat. And yes, I do have a cold sore, thank you very much for noticing. But we're not going to talk about that, we're going to talk about this first of all. The world's smallest wireless controller. It's a Steelseries Stratus. Evoking kind of like the design of the Xbone controller, I guess, more so than anything else. This you'll see in use when you see Hour of Freedom Unite iOS, which I just finished recording before recording this actually. Talk a little bit about it. It's Bluetooth. And I am having some issues with it when I'm also trying to wirelessly stream my iPad to my PC. If you want me to go into more details about how I'm going to be recording stuff on my iPad, let me know and I'm happy to kind of talk you through it, although that's the long and the short of it for the most part. This, what can I, look, can of juice. It's smaller than a can of juice. It's a tiny little thing, and with big hands, especially with the shoulder buttons, there's L2, R2, kind of, hang on, there, L2, R2, L1, R1. It's hard to use, and I was not expecting it to be that small, but I suppose it has to be because it's based on portable gaming. It's also massively and stupidly expensive because it's for iOS devices exclusively, and people who have iOS devices waste money wantonly. So they can charge stupid prices and get away with it, which is disappointing. However, I did actually find this for a deal. I got it for £40 instead of 60 or 70. So there is that, but still. Also, it comes, look, the back is kind of like plastic, and it's got a bit more bulk to it, but when you're not using the controller it clips off. So there's what the actual back looks like with the factory reset button, and it becomes a cover so you can protect the front, which I actually think is kind of nifty. I read reviews that apparently it falls off easily if you just touch it. Reviews were lying. It's actually very, very tight. So that's what I'm going to be using for some iOS coverage. Now that I can easily stream from my iPad, I'm going to be doing a bit more of that. I have to turn down a lot of indie devs that approach me about iOS games, or mobile games in general, because they don't have PC builds and I can't record directly from an iPad, or I couldn't until I found a great little program that lets you do it. So there is that. That's about the only other kind of like non-standard thing I wanted to cover in general. The month is going pretty slow. We're almost into September. September itself is going to be slow as well, sadly, because things got delayed. But then November, December, well, sorry, we've got, October as well in there. October, I can't remember if anything's out in October. I'm going to guess that it's going to be October or November for Afterbirth. But we'll know for sure. Will you know for sure by the time this goes live? Does this go live on the 24th? I think today is the day where they're doing the release date trailer for Afterbirth, so we'll all find out today when it's actually out. My guess is Halloween, but or on either side of Halloween. That's my guess. And then in November, of course, we have Fallout 4, we have XCOM 2, we have Monster Hunter Cross, although that's right at the end into December. The end of the year is going to be fantastically busy. It's just I'm struggling a little bit to fill content right now without going back to old stuff. So that's why I've gone back to 2 videos a day rather than 3, just because I don't have quite enough content to stretch. And I am looking for more, and I'm still looking for ideas that aren't playthroughs as well, but nothing there yet. So anyway, there's not that many comments to go through, so let's just get on with it. Let's see, go from newest first, please. So Dragonaka said, hooray for a bit of facial hair. Well, you got your wish again. By the way, I've also been a little bit busy because I had family over from Australia, kind of doing the rounds, seeing everybody, and the last few days was my turn, so haven't had time to record a lot. Assassin's Creed was great when it came out. This is Dragonaka saying this. I lost track of the number of versions that were released, and I don't think I'll ever get around to catching up. Anything after 3 you don't need to. As a standalone game, Unity that was the name of it, right? The French one. As a standalone thing, I thought that was kind of funny. They tried to copy what made Ezio such a great character in the character you play as in that, by making him kind of like suave, but also kind of sarcastic and a bit smarmy. Didn't quite have the same punch that Ezio had, but he was funny. I kind of liked him as a character. The other characters in the game, not so much. Also, there's people talking very loudly outside my window. It's open because it's very warm despite being very murky. So anyway, Alucard Games, you've changed your name recently. And your avatar for that matter. So this is in relation to, he was the person who dropped his 2DS and it seemed to break from just dropping. And I was curious for more details about how it happened. So he says that the 2DS dropped from a height about 5 feet. So you were sitting then, or maybe sitting up at the time. It landed on the top left hand corner of the system, very close to where the volume control is, so I guess that explains why that's the bit that broke. The surface that it landed on was a solid tile floor. Ooh. I hope you can hear that. However, there is good news. It turns out that the volume control is a set of pincers that point into the system and pinches the actual volume control knob. When the 2DS hit the floor, these were separated but not broken. I was able to take the system apart and re-pinch the volume tabs so now they work again. I'll attempt a diagram now. Hang on, read more. Okay, yeah, that's a diagram. You'll have to see it for yourself on last week's comments if you want. So volume control outside, internal volume control. I think yeah, so when you move the volume tab on the outside, essentially it's moving the thing that's deeper in the system. I get it. Oh, for the love of God, yes, it makes sense, kind of. Jason Anino says, I'm still waiting for Assassin's Creed to have modern day machine guns and see how they would do modern day environment in the game. They're too scared. They're too scared to do that. They're introducing steadily more guns, but it's always guns that take like 20 years to reload. The Unity one had, this is slightly spoilerific, it had sections of the game set in World War I or II, one of the World Wars, and you're dodging fighter planes that are actually shooting actual guns at you, like machine guns and stuff, but even that, they're too scared to do modern or future. That's why they ruined the ending to Desmond's story. There should have just been an Assassin's Creed as him doing something to save the world, but they fucked it up. Because Ubisoft game. DRC97 says, according to YouTube captions, American cock doesn't taste good. If you had to... Oh, you're just going to move on to a new topic. That's fine. I'm curious, actually. This is in relation to... There's a very fantastically fun feature on YouTube where it attempts to do automatic subtitles based on what it thinks you said. I think I described this last time. Or in a different video. Maybe it was a Rebirth video. Either way, I said American candy tastes good, and it mistranslated into an appalling degree. Now I've actually said what it thought I said last time, so now I'm curious, will it translate into candy or will it get it right? I'm curious. Anyway, if you had the chance to bring 5 anime or fictional characters into existence, who would you choose? And then you move on with more questions, so hang on, we'll go through this. 5 anime or fictional characters into existence. Goku, because he'd set the world right. He's essentially Superman. Light, whatever his name was. What was his surname? Yagami? Because there's some people who need to be taken care of Death Note style. I could go for game characters count, right? So fictional characters, game characters. Oh, Batman. Batman, he's fictional. Sadly. 2 more. I don't know, who else? From anything. You put me on the spot and I can't think of anyone else that I would have a good reason to say bring back. Oh, bring into existence. I've got Goku to handle all the world's problems. I've got, well, also Kira can do that as well with Death Note. Nope, can't think of any other 2. I'm looking around my room for inspiration now. Nope. Maybe you need a villain just to spice things up a bit. If you bring Batman, maybe you should also bring the Joker. Yeah, alright, let's say the Joker just to make things interesting. And then finally, I would say... Does Deviljho count as a character? Because if so, then I pick Deviljho. Because I think it would be interesting to have basically a T-Rex that shoots fire in the real world. So anyway, your second question is, what weapon would you choose in the apocalypse? I would choose a shotgun if it was a zombie apocalypse. I would choose a sniper rifle if it was any other kind of apocalypse. Unless it was one that like took away all technology, in which case, sword. Sword will do. That sword. It's not sharp, but it could still do some damage. If you could be any horseman of the apocalypse, which would you be? Do you have to ask? I would be Death, because he has a scythe. He has all mini scythes that he sends all over the place. And then you said Quack. Okay. So Red Knight says, hey Flik, when Dark Souls 3 comes out, when is that by the way? I've forgotten again. It got delayed till next year, didn't it? Like March-ish. Would you be willing to do a Steam night with viewers? And how did the dragon fruit and lemon things taste? Dragon fruit and lemon things? Oh, from the box, they were nice. Yes, I remember now. Sorry, I forgot. Steam, how would oh, you mean like just kind of like doing duels or invasions? That's assuming that those kind of things exist in Dark Souls 3. We would need to wait and see. Hopefully, by then I would be able to live stream and then it would be a proper event. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Liam First says, I swear that Gap t-shirt is in the same place every episode. You mean that Gap hoodie, right? I always keep the red hoodie behind me in case it gets cold. The black one is... Oh wait, you mean that one, don't you? Yeah, that one rarely moves because I just use the red one. I can switch it around next time it's cold if you want. Yeah, I keep like not jackets, but you know, sweaters and stuff piled up there, jumpers, for when it's cold. And it's cold very, very often. So let me see. Brett 22 says, forgive me if you've already answered this before. What is your opinion on turn-based RPGs? Do you prefer action RPGs instead? I really like turn-based RPGs of all kinds of types. Of the type of like JRPGs or, you know, Final Fantasy Tactics, or XCOM type if you mean like the Western kind of style. I like action RPGs as well, and I think they do better from like an audience perspective. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for that. I love the Disgaea games. Final Fantasy Tactics is my favourite Final Fantasy. Although, well, you're not necessarily meaning like that style of play, you just mean turn-based in the sense of like any Final Fantasy, right? I'm fine with those as well. I know they have a... What is that noise? It's not someone cutting their lawn, not in weather like this. I wonder if it's an electric car or something. Either way, I'll try and ignore it. It probably won't be as audible for you. Yeah, any kind of RPG I like. I don't have as much time as I wish I did for Japanese style, really, you know, huge Witcher 3 and bigger size games. I know Witcher 3 is more into the action RPG, but you know, I mean, scale wise I'm talking about. Yeah, I've always loved RPGs of that type. I have no problem with turn-based battle systems. I kind of prefer them. Although, you know, I preferred them when I was a kid. Now that I'm older, I'm into our action RPGs because I've found that I'm okay at them. I won't say I'm good at all of them, but I can be fairly competent at action RPGs. And I like the intenseness of real-time fighting. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for turn-based and grid-based and, you know, all sorts. So yeah, I don't have any problems with them at all, and I would recommend some of those games I mentioned actually if you've never played them. So 2 more comments. Nicodemus82 says Assassin's Creed Black Flag was pretty good. That's generally seems to be the opinion on that one. But that's because it came after 3, which was appalling. So when Black Flag came out, people were like, you know, it took the only good bit of 3 and added pirates onto it, so yeah, it's okay. But I didn't play that one and I'm not really interested in it. Probably the best after 2 in my opinion. Now, that's pretty hefty praise, because I would say like all the Ezio games are good. Brotherhood, you know, they had good multiplayer. And I liked the final Ezio game. I know on the Desmond side it was pretty bad, but I really liked the finale to Ezio and Altair's story. I thought it was very somber and nice. I liked when... I don't know if I've... Spoiler, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear the end of the final Ezio game. I liked when he was in front of Altair's corpse talking to Desmond, because he knew that Desmond was seeing everything he was seeing, and just saying, Desmond, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore, I'm leaving it to you. I thought that was a very powerful scene. So yeah, I really liked that one. Also, you want to try the wasabi something crisps from Japan if you can. They're yummy. I hope that Catchy Connection includes them sometime then. So, Todd Severs, the final comment, he says, I'm curious how the one soda flavoured candy you had tasted. Like, was it a particular type of soda? Also, if you're looking for more content to post, you could try another XCOM playthrough. I was considering doing something XCOM wise in the build up to 2, but 2 is actually, you know, it's really, really close to release. Seeing as the old one is getting more views, is it? Well, if you watched it, then thank you. Maybe with the Long War mod installed. I don't like the Long War mod. It made the game artificially difficult and boring, in my opinion. I like that they added new classes and stuff, though. I wish you could cherry pick the stuff that Long War did, but as far as I'm aware, you can't. It would take a little while for me to get through it. But to answer your first question, the soda flavour in Japan is just... It's like saying something tastes of cherry. For Japanese stuff that tastes of soda, it is just this, like... It's this one encompassing flavour, and to compare it to something like Western... I was going to say cream soda, but I don't think that's right either. Kind of. It kind of tastes like cream soda. It doesn't taste like strawberry. It doesn't taste like, you know, Fanta or Pepsi or anything like that. It has a unique flavour that's just called soda flavour, because it just tastes like a generic fizzy-ish drink. And everything that tastes of soda in Japan is that flavour. I can't really pinpoint anything that I drink that tastes like it. But I would say maybe cream soda's close, or, you know, that kind of stuff. What's that other soda that Americans have? We import it. Not cream soda. I'm blanking on the name. I've never drunk it. I had a friend who used to drink it a lot when I was a kid. No. totally blanking on it. Maybe someone else will be able to fill it in. Or someone else who just knows how to describe the soda flavour better. But to go back to your other comment, oh yeah, as I was saying, XCOM 2 is out really, really soon. So I'm just trying to hold on for that because it's going to be good. The visuals are not improved a lot. I'm less worried about them now though. After that E3 stuff, I thought it looked, honestly, it looked all plasticky and awful. They, just the other day there, released a video showing how the base building is going to work in XCOM 2. And they also showed a little bit of the cutscenes, you know, they set up a little bit of what the plot is. As far as I can tell, you're playing as the same guy, you know, the same commander, but you lost the war, you got caught, survivors saved you, and now you're being brought into this repurposed alien ship. And the graphics of the in-game stuff there, it looked better, like when it was going over how you could customize all your soldiers, how they work. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I hate getting hyped about games these days, but I feel like for XCOM 2, for Fallout 4, for Monster Hunter Cross, they're all safe bets. For Afterbirth as well, let's throw that in there as well. They are all safe bets to me. They would have to fuck up so bad for them to be so terrible that I'd be disappointed that I was hyped about them. You know, that isn't to say that it won't happen, but we're getting there. I'm holding on, just, you know, keeping series kind of just ticking over. And then at the end of the year, it's just going to ramp up. I'm going to have to go back to 3 videos a day again for sure, maybe even 4 on some days. My connection's going to suffer like G did. G did? Question mark. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to covering those games, and I hope other people will enjoy watching me cover those games too. And with that, that is the last comment. And I've covered everything I want to talk about. So that's going to do it for this week. Is this the last one of the month? Nope. The 31st is the last day of the month, and it's a Monday, so there will be at least one more. What day are we on? Yeah, this will be the 24th, so one more. And I still have some Patreon stuff to do, actually, now that I just remembered, so I should probably go do that now. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next week. Ta-ta for now.